We have received a copy of the criminal complaint, and my client and I had an opportunity to read it. And his name appears correct on the criminal complaint. He waives the reading of the complaint, and I have advised him of his constitutional rights, and at this time would like to enter a plea of not guilty.
All right, at this time, the court will enter a not guilty plea on Mr. Millette's behalf and a denial to any and all allegations. We'll show Ms. Martinez as attorney of record. Is there a time waiver regarding dates?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Millette, you have the right to have a preliminary examination hearing within 10 court days and no later than 60 calendar days. Do you give up that right so that we can set dates outside of those time limitations as requested by your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll note for the record both a 10 and 60-day time waiver. As to the issue of bail, Ms. Martinez, it's my understanding you're going to submit on the issue of bail, requesting a bail review hearing. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, bail will remain set at no bail at this time. A bail review hearing will be held on November 4th at 1:30 in this department. After that hearing, this matter will be assigned to Judge Mooring for all purposes. The court advises the parties are to comply with Code of Civil Procedure Section 170.62 sub A if either party wishes to file a peremptory challenge. I have also signed a protective order regarding the body-worn camera evidence. The court has received criminal protective order pursuant to Penal Code Section 136.2. Ms. Bowles, are you asking the court to issue that at this time?
I am, Your Honor.
Agreed
Ms.
this time, Your Honor.
Martinez, you
Yes,
submit
Your
on
Honor.
that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you've advised your client as to the parties that are to be protected under this order?
Yes, I have, Your Honor.
All right, at this time, the court orders as to those protected parties as follows. Mr. Millette, you must not harass, strike, threaten, assault, follow, stalk, molest, destroy or damage personal or real property, disturb their peace, keep them under surveillance, or block their movements. You must not own, possess, buy or try to buy, receive or try to receive, or otherwise obtain a firearm or ammunition. You must surrender to local law enforcement or sell to or store with a licensed gun dealer any firearm owned by you or subject to your immediate possession or control within 24 hours after service of this order today, and then you must file a receipt with the court within 48 hours. You must not attempt to or actually prevent or dissuade any victim or witness from attending a hearing or testifying or making a report to any law enforcement agency or person. You must take no action to obtain the addresses or locations of protected persons or their family members, caretakers, or guardians unless good cause exists otherwise. You must have no personal, electronic, telephonic, or written contact with any protected party named above. You must have no contact with them through a third party. You're to stay 100 yards away from them, their homes, places of employment or schools, or vehicles, and they are permitted to record any communications made by you that violate these orders. At this time, the court will set further dates after the bail review of readiness conference will be December 16th at 1:30 in Department 16. Preliminary examination, February 28th, 2022 at 8:30 in Department 8, which will be Judge Moore's department after January. Ms. Bowles, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Martinez?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much.
So this video is about Maya Millette's husband Larry's arrest affidavit for murder. Very disturbing. Here is the summary of probable cause. The investigation has revealed that in the days leading up to January 7th, 2021, May Millette was taking steps to divorce her husband and that Larry Millette was determined to stop her. When Larry's desperate begging and threats failed to stop May from seeking a divorce, the thought of losing his family was unfathomable to him. May was dedicated to her career, loved her family, and she was committed to and cherished her children. There is no evidence to suggest that May left and disappeared of her own accord, or that she had the financial means to do so. Rather, the investigation has revealed that Larry had an overwhelming motive to prevent his wife from divorcing him. On January 7, 2021, May was determined to leave the marriage, and Larry was determined to stop her. Based on the totality of the circumstantial evidence, including surveillance video, phone text, social media, communications, and motive, we have probable cause to believe that Larry Millette unlawfully killed his wife, May, and disposed of her body on or about January 7th or 8th, 2021. Here's a brief synopsis of May's disappearance. On Saturday, January 9th at approximately 23:50, Mary Chris, hereinafter referred to as Mary Chris, who is Maya's sister, called the Chula Vista Police Department to report her sister May and her husband, identified as Larry Millette, had been having marriage problems, including recent fighting. Mary Chris stated that May's family was concerned because they had not heard from May since the evening of Thursday, January 7th, 2021. Mary Chris stated the family had plans to celebrate May's daughter's 11th birthday at Big Bear that weekend, and it was uncharacteristic of May not to be in contact with her family. While Mary Chris was speaking to the officer, she seemed hesitant to speak about Larry and May's argument, because she was at Larry and May's house, located at Paseo Los Gatos in Chula Vista. Because of the hesitation in her voice, officers conducted a welfare check at the residence and arrived shortly after midnight on Sunday, January 10th, 2021. During the initial investigation, detectives learned that May and Larry had been having marriage issues for the past year, and that Larry discovered that May had an affair. Detectives learned that May and Larry had an argument the evening of January 7th. And that on January 8th, Larry left with his 4-year-old for the day. Larry claimed he heard May in the house the evening of January 8th, but had not seen her since the evening of January 7th. Larry allowed officers to view his cell phone to review messages between he and May. Officers noted that all of the messages between Larry and May prior to January 9th had been deleted. Larry later stated he deleted the messages to conserve space on his cell phone. All 4 Millette family vehicles, including a Lexus GX460, were at the house when police were notified of May's disappearance. During the investigation, detectives looked at surveillance footage and observed May parked her Jeep Rubicon on the street in front of her residence on January 7th at 16:42 hours. Investigators have obtained multiple sources of video surveillance from the neighborhood. And there was no surveillance footage capturing May leaving her residence after she arrived on January 7th at 16:42 hours. She is last seen at that time walking towards her residence. Detectives from the Chula Vista Police Department Crimes of Violence Unit were assigned to the case and conducted an extensive 9-month investigation. During the course of the investigation, 66 search warrants, 87 witness interviews, and detectives followed up on 128 tips. Numerous searches have been conducted, and May has not been located. Larry Millette has not participated in any of the searches. May and Larry were involved in ongoing and escalating marital discord throughout 2020. The investigation has revealed that in 2020, May Millette began taking steps to physically separate from Larry Millette. May communicated to her friends in late December that her marriage was definitely over and she had planned to file for a divorce. Google searches on May's electronic devices during 2020 reveal inquiries for different divorce attorneys. In searches such as how to calculate child support payments and how much mortgage can I afford. Indicating she was conducting research to begin a life separate from her husband. The investigation has revealed that beginning in September 2020 through January 7th, 2021, Larry became increasingly obsessed with May's activities and communications with other people. Friends described Larry as controlling or exhibiting stalker-like behavior. In 2020, Larry grew increasingly paranoid that May was going to leave the marriage, and he began to monitor her whereabouts. Larry would also show up unannounced to May's work to see if she was meeting with another man. Larry's controlling behavior escalated throughout 2020 and into 2021. On November 24, 2020, May sent an email to Larry after Larry sent her a link to an article entitled "What Men Want from Their Wives." May's response was, "How about maybe you should focus on what women want from their husbands? These things you send me are just about you." Further solidifies the whole idea that you really think I am the problem, and that if you could fix me, everything would be okay. As long as I go back to the wife you liked, the one who didn't rock the boat, who didn't assert her feelings, who didn't care about how much she was hurting, so long as there's peace and harmony, then things will be okay, because really I'm the problem, right? There is no evidence to suggest that May Millette voluntarily disappeared of her own accord on or about January 7th or 8th, 2021. Larry Millette is the only known person with a means and a motive to hurt or kill her and to dispose of her body during that time. Larry's telephonic communications reveal a desperate, frantic, unbalanced mindset coupled with homicidal ideations. I learned that during the week of January 4th, 2021, May and Larry's marital discord was reaching a boiling point. May's family went to the desert in Glamis for New Year's celebration in January 2021. Family members described Larry's behavior was odd and erratic during the same trip. Larry asked a family member if he knew someone to get the other guy. This was interpreted as finding someone to hurt the man with whom May was having an affair. While confiding in a friend about her marital issues, May revealed that at one time in the past, Larry had choked May until she passed out. A review of Larry's internet searches, including "Plant You Take to Never Wake Up," and "Water Hemlock." As their relationship deteriorated, May was not interested in a physical relationship with Larry. In December of 2020, Larry conducted a search entitled "My Wife Doesn't Want Me to Touch Her." Larry then searched for rohypnol, diphenhydramine, flunitrazepam. These are central nervous system sedatives and depressants that could be used to incapacitate a person. According to the DEA website, flunitrazepam is the generic name for rohypnol, commonly referred to as roofies, the date rape drug. Larry sent hundreds of emails to various companies which appear to sell spells. The investigation revealed that these companies purport to be psychics, spirit channelers, and/or white light practitioners capable of energy work who sell spells that can be cast to enhance a person's love life, eliminate debt, or make a romantic partner remain faithful. Larry purchased numerous spells to cast on May. Between September 2020 and January 2021, Larry contacted the websites daily, sometimes multiple times a day, purchasing spells and sending messages requesting help that May would obey him, fall back in love with him, incapacitate her, or make her so sick that she could not leave the house. A message from Larry on December 27th states, "Please punish May and incapacitate her enough so she can't leave the house. It's time to take the gloves off." The emails became increasingly panicked. On December 31st, Larry sent an email to a spellcaster indicating they were in the desert dirt biking and off-roading for several days and asked, "Can you hex her and hurt her enough so that she will have to depend on me and need my help? She's only nice to me when she needs me or sick. Thanks again. Maybe an accident or broken bone." There's a timeline of events on the week of January 4th that culminate in May's murder, January 7th or 8th, 2021. In a text message exchange with a friend on January 6th, May stated, I told him I'm filing for a divorce whether he likes it or not. I'm done trying to make it amicable for the sake of the kids. May was really hoping to get through the weekend for her daughter's birthday. At 12:15 hours on January 7th, May spoke with a law firm and set up an appointment with a divorce attorney for Tuesday, January 12th. May specifically waited to initiate the divorce until after her daughter's birthday on January 10th. May's last phone call was on January 7th at 15:48 hours with a divorce attorney. May's last known communication with any friend or family member was on January 7th at 20:15 hours. Meanwhile, on January 7th, with the knowledge that May was serious about proceeding with a divorce, Larry was growing more desperate. He sent countless emails to Spellcasters begging for help to prevent May from leaving him and filing for a divorce. The afternoon of January 7th, Larry emailed the Spellcaster, "I think she wants me to snap." I'm shaking inside, ready to snap. January 7th at 16:39 hours, Larry sent an email asking a spellcaster to make her realize that we are meant to be with each other. Make her miserable without me. Make her want to sleep on the same bed for all eternity. Praying hands emoji. At 21:21 hours, Larry sent a screenshot of his account balance from one of his cryptocurrency apps to his two daughters, ages 11 and 9. May's phone activity stopped on January 8th, 2021 at 01:25 hours. About 1 hour later, Larry sent an email to a spellcaster at 02:38 hours on January 8th. And then abruptly ends his messaging campaign begging for help to prevent May from leaving the marriage. Larry's desperation for May not to leave disappeared. Larry doesn't send another email to a spellcaster again until January 9th at 0555 hours, when he asks for the spellcaster to remove or stop hexing my wife, May. At this point, Larry's focus shifts, and he sends emails through the beginning of February asking to punish the man with whom May had an affair. Unexpectedly, Larry did not go to work on January 6th, 7th, or 8th, 2021. On January 8th, Larry's family and boss were looking for him and couldn't find him. Larry's boss sent a message to May on the morning of January 8th saying he was concerned because he hadn't heard from Larry. His boss stated, "This is not like him to miss work. It has been a few days." Larry's father sent him a text message stating, "Larry, please turn on your phone. Your boss Terry is calling regarding your job." Based on the evidence, those closest to Larry cannot account for his whereabouts on January 8th, 2021. Larry's alibi on January 8th cannot be corroborated. Larry stated on January 8th he left at 06:45 hours to take his 4-year-old son to Solana Beach to give May her space. Larry claims he was with his son at Solana Beach the entire day. Security video captured Larry on January 8th, 2021 at 0558 hours moving his Lexus GX 460. The Lexus was already backed in the driveway with the nose facing the street. But Larry drove the Lexus into the street and reversed it back into the driveway, almost in the same position, but at an angle. It appeared that the Lexus is at an angle as he backed it up to the garage. Due to the angle, detectives were unable to see into the Lexus or the garage. Surveillance video doesn't capture whether Larry loaded anything into the back of the car. At 06:45 hours, the Lexus GX 460 is seen leaving the residence and does not return to the residence until 18:06 hours. The evening of January 8th, May's brother went to the house around 18:30 hours to check on her. The family had been communicating via group text, and May had stopped responding after January 7th. When he entered the residence, May's brother met with his 9-year-old niece. May's brother asked about May. His niece told him that May had not been up in her room for the last 11 hours. The niece also said she and her sister had not been fed. May's brother went inside the house, knocked on May's door, and never got an answer from her. May's brother never opened the door to look inside to confirm if May was inside. According to May's brother, Larry was at home and said he had been at work all day and couldn't account for May's whereabouts. However, Larry changed his story halfway through the conversation and told May's brother he had taken his 4-year-old son to the beach. May's brother explained that after he checked on May, he went back downstairs and asked Larry to let him know when May comes out. May's brother left the residence and drove down the street to see if any other lights were on in May's room, and he did not notice any. During the initial stages of the investigation, Larry allowed detectives to speak with his children. The older 2 children were in virtual school and told detectives May would normally check on them periodically throughout the day while they were learning online. On Friday, January 8th, 2021, May did not check in on them. The children heard noises in the kitchen Friday, January 8th, and assumed it was May, but never actually saw her. When asked to indicate on a map exactly where he was all day on January 8th, 2021, Larry pointed to Torrey Pine State Beach, which is approximately 4 miles south of Solana Beach. It's about a 20-minute drive from Chula Vista. Larry initially stated he took his phone to the beach, but records show Larry's phone was off from 06:45 to 18:34 hours. On January 26th, detectives served a search warrant to seize the contents of the Lexus infotainment system. The report generated from the download indicates a navigation event on January 8th at 15:29 hours for Larry's home address at Paseo Los Gatos. The system did not capture any additional locations or routes traveled on January 8th. Investigators have been unable to confirm Larry's whereabouts on January 8th, 2021. Based on a review of Larry's cell phone activity, this extended 11-hour gap in cell phone activity was historically uncharacteristic. Detectives obtained security footage from a neighboring residence and observed the following. On January 7th, at approximately 21:57 hours, the sound of 9 loud bangs, possibly gunshots, were recorded. Nothing visual was captured on the footage. At 22:34 hours, kids could be heard playing in the backyard of the Millette residence. The homeowner identified the voices as the Millette kids because she had heard them playing on prior occasions. The homeowner found it odd the kids were playing outside so late since it was a school night and the past few nights had been very cold. The audio recording of the loud bangs was provided to the FBI for analysis, who determined the audio was not of sufficient quality to accurately record and reproduce gunshot impulses. It could not be scientifically classified as gunshot events. No proof of life for May. May was born on May 1st, 1981. She had 5 siblings and her parents are still living. May and Larry Millette were married in Honolulu, Hawaii on May 12, 2000. May was 19 years old when they married. Larry Millette was born on September 24th, 1981. He was 18 years old when they married. Larry Millette currently works as an optician in the optometry department at Naval Medical Training Center in San Diego. May Millette worked at the Department of Defense at Southwest Regional Maintenance Center, San Diego, as a supervisor contract specialist. Effective June 21st, 2020, May changed jobs with the DoD, began working as an administrative specialist at Naval Institution Warfare Pacific. May excelled in her job and she was committed to her career. Through the course of my investigation, I learned May was an avid cell phone user. And regularly used her phone to communicate with friends, family, and to utilize social media. After January 7, 2021, at 20:15 hours, she has not communicated with anyone via text, social media, or phone call. Law enforcement experts concluded that on January 8, 2021, at 01:25 hours, May's phone was consistent with being in the San Miguel Ranch neighborhood where she lives. May's phone did not leave the Paseo Los Gatos neighborhood. She has not made any purchases or transactions with her credit cards or bank accounts. All of her items, her jewelry, clothing, purses, still at the house. May's family and friends confirm she is not suicidal and she would never leave her children. May was taking concrete steps to leave the marriage. Larry Millette became increasingly desperate. Though May Millette's body has not been found, it is, in my opinion, based on evidence, witness statements, and May's abrupt change in pattern of life and events leading to May's disappearance, there is probable cause to arrest Larry Millette for causing May's death.